You're listening to In Your Face because life demands hard conversations. Watch on YouTube at I Am Tassian and stream on Apple and Spotify podcasts.
Okay. Yep. Well, no, for our listeners and our viewers that are watching on YouTube, listeners on Apple and Spotify, I met Mama Faith when my freshman year of college.
Yep.
I started at Fisk University. Shout out FU. Literally, that's what we used to tell people FU. But no, I met her at Fisk, and she was my mama. I just called her my mama from university choir. If I missed class, she was like, "Where you at?" And we would do those university tours. You were always looking out for me. And then when I began to look at Greek letter organizations, I was always told I should do one organization, and my number three was very crystal clear what she was doing. Like everybody knew what Shay was gonna do, right? And
Yeah.
so she
Everybody.
played a role. Was like, well, I was like, I only know this. She's like, you should take a look and really do all your research into all the organizations before you make a decision just on based on what someone told you. And I did. And I remember going home for spring break my freshman year, and two of the ladies at my church were like, "Are you thinking about pledging?" I was like, "Oh, it's or our membership intake process." And she's like, "Oh, are you thinking about joining?" And I was like, "I am. I am. I've been looking at this organization." And they were like two separate ones and two separate conversations. Like, you should look at Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. And I was like, that's funny you said that, but okay. And so that was two when I went home. And then when I came back, I will never forget, me and Shay were having our talk. She had her little binder that she carried with all her Zeta information, and we were looking through it. And then you guys had a probate. It was a probate that spring. The Zetas were coming out, really the only real sorority on the yard at that time. And you were the eighth, and that was like the third charm for me. I was like, okay, here are two women I respect back home, and then my mama, that's been my college mama while I've been away at school, is the eighth, and I love her and I respect her. And so I'm like, if it's good enough for her, it's good enough for me. And so people don't know, but that's why I really made the decision to join is when I saw you on that line probating in the rain.
Girl, you
Um,
gonna make me cry.
but no, for real, that is why I joined Zeta. It was because of you. I claim Howard because that's what my degree is saying, but I never underestimate or devalue the experience I had at Fisk, right? Because
Right.
I I always say Fisk raised me, but Howard made me because I did all my growing up at Fisk. Like I made all my struggles, all my hardships were at Fisk, and then when I got to Howard, it was just like I want my degree.
You know
So,
what? I got the same experience. Remember, I started at Dillard my first 2 years. And by the time
hmm
I got to Fisk, it was just kind of like I'm ready to get out of school. But
yeah. Oh yeah,
Zeta
because of
was the
Hurricane
thing.
Katrina,
Yeah. But
right?
Zeta
And
was the
so
thing that like made me love Fisk the most. And I tell anybody, like, if it wasn't for Zeta, I probably would have felt homeless, if that makes sense.
yeah, I
But
get it.
because of Zeta, I have this connection to Fisk, and I love Fisk so much because of Zeta. Because I didn't have the experience that everybody else had because
Yeah,
I had circumstance that put me somewhere that I didn't necessarily know I would be. But I'm
right.
grateful anyway because it helped my life so much tremendously. So
Oh, well, look at us. Look at us have a similar story. Shout out to my mama. That's why you my mama. But the reason I had you here is because I just watched you blossom over the last few years from being, I mean, you've always been Faith, and Faith is on Faith 24/7, and just had
all the
that big,
time.
bold personality. But then just seeing the way you blossomed on TikTok and Instagram, and you come for people, and I'm here for it every single minute. But it's not just clowning people or attacking people. It's really you really putting even more of a bigger spotlight and attention to BBWs. And for those that don't know, that's big, beautiful women. And you've
Right.
always been a big, beautiful woman with a donk that I wish I had.
Girl,
But
it
I
ain't
really,
all act up to be sometimes because you can't find them jeans that fit up your butt.
well,
Sometimes
Yonsei
I
said
give
you're supposed to
this away.
jump in your jeans. If you ain't jumping, it's a
You don't feel
problem.
my pain.
Yes, and I don't
Yeah,
jump all the time, and that's the problem. So
you good
it's
just the way you are, honey.
but no, I remember starting to see you post, and I'll be honest, the whole Faith is the Fat Rebel was a little, it kind of took me off for a minute because I don't like you calling yourself fat. And then I started looking more at your post and was like, oh no, this is power. This is her like owning her power and owning her story. And I just got a different perspective and kind of just wanted to talk to you about that.
So, originally I started out as BBW's workout. So when the pandemic happened, I just was like, okay, I failed. Honestly, I fell in my yard and my ankle swole up, and I was like, I got to get active because if not, this gonna be a problem in the future. So I started working out, and I just was posting just to post. I mean, it wasn't even anything that I was trying to do on purpose. And then people started saying, well, maybe you should consider being an influencer or an instructor because when I first started working out, it was just kind of like I was gonna join the gym, and then I said, I'm not gonna lie to myself. You done had a bunch of gym memberships that you ain't used, and I'm not gonna waste no more money. So I decided to myself, well, what do you like to do the most? I like to twerk. So I started out shaking ass. It's all right for me to say that.
It's
I
fine,
started out
do
shaking my booty. I would turn the music on and throw it in a circle. And if everybody who know me know that throw that ass in the circle is my dream. So
yes
I would
it
get
is.
that, I would throw it in a circle, and then I would go to the park. And I kid you not, I could only walk half a mile. That's all I could do. But I did it until I built my endurance. Then I had decided, well, Faith, you used to line dance. Start doing
Mm-hmm.
that. I started line dancing. So I would get in my living room,
Yep.
see what the latest dances are. Now, everybody is on this can't get enough craze with Tamia. And I absolutely hate that dance because TikTok done made it viral again.
I
And
don't even know what that is.
people who line dance for real don't like that dance for real because they done drug it in the mud. But anyway, so I started line dancing and then I started posting. And I got on TikTok and at first I just was posting my workout videos. And then I started saying, well, TikTok, you can do a whole lot of stuff on here. So then I started being silly. I started preaching my sermon. And then I started doing fashion. And that's how it turned into Faith as a Fat Rebel because I'm like, it can't just be BBW's workout because I do way more than that now. So then I started getting into fat liberation. And a lot of people don't know that's a thing right now. So now in a whole lot of online spaces, the conversation is going on about size inclusivity in fashion, um, even like everyday life, discrimination against plus size people, all of those things. So now it's not just about like working out or even looking good. It's about people seeing us, respecting us, and leaving us the hell alone. So a lot of times when you see me doing my clapback videos, it's really just me saying, we here, get the hell over. And if you got a problem, block me. You ain't gotta look. But I'm not gonna hide in the shadows because you got a problem with fat people. And fat is absolutely not a bad word. It's not. It's not. It's just a
No, you've
description.
taken the
Now,
power back, and I'm telling you, it made me look at it. I was like, I'm gonna text mom and tell her to take that out because you're not fat, you beautiful. But then I started really looking at your content and what you were doing, and I was like, no, this is changing the narrative behind, I think, how culture and our society has made us look at the word fat, right?
yes,
Um, we look at it as a negative connotation. It's something wrong with you if you're fat.
right,
Because we all are supposed to fit this one size, that BMI metric chart that really doesn't even take in the cultural significance of our genetics, right? Like as a
right,
black woman, I may have a bit more meat on my bone. I've always technically, according to that BMI chart, been overweight. And I mean, my Aunt Hanifa calls me Oprah because she thinks I'm doing stuff like this. I say I'm over because I always fluctuate up and down in my weight. Shout out. I'm technically a part of the BBW community too. But I think that but it was because growing up, I was always trying to fit into that BMI chart and I never fit it. So I always thought I was overweight. I always thought I was fat. I had body complex issues until I got older and recognized, well, no, Tatiana, you're thicker. You have thick thighs. You're not going to have thin thighs like that. Look at the family you come
right,
from. Look at your genetics. Look at your DNA. And there are things that are going to be different. And people think, I'm in the hive. I'm the president of the Beehive for the California chapter. And so I love the queen, but